Opposition Storting is the supreme legislature of Norway. Established in 1814 by the Constitution of Norway. It is located in Oslo. The unicameral parliament has 169 members and is elected every 4 years based on party list proportional representation in 19 multi-seat constituencies. A member of Stortinget is known in Norwegian as a Stortingsrepresentant. Literally, Storting representative. The assembly is led by a president and, since 2009, 5 vice presidents. The presidium. The members are allocated to 12 standing committees, as well as 4 procedural committees. 3 ombudsmen are directly subordinate to Parliament: the Parliamentary Intelligence Oversight Committee and the Office of the Auditor General. Parliamentarianism was established in 1884, with the Storting operating a form of qualified unicameralism, in which it divided its membership into 2 internal chambers, making Norway a de facto bicameral parliament, the Lagting and the Odelsting. Following a constitutional amendment in 2007, this was abolished, taking effect following the 2009 election. Following the 2017 election, 9 parties are represented in Parliament: the Labour Party, the Centre Party, the Socialist Left Party. Since 2018, Tone Wilhelmsen Trond has been president of the Storting. The parliament in its present form was first constituted at Eidsvoll in 1814. Although its origins can be traced back to the Alting, as early as the 9th century, a type of thing, or common assembly of free men in Germanic societies that would gather at a place called a Thingstead and were presided over by law speakers. The Altings were where legal and political matters were discussed. These gradually were formalized so that the things grew into regional meetings and acquired backing and authority from the crown, even to the extent that on occasions they were instrumental in effecting change in the monarchy itself. As oral laws became codified and Norway unified as a geopolitical entity in the 10th century, the Lagtings were established as superior regional assemblies. During the mid-13th century, by then archaic regional assemblies, the Frostating, the Gulating, the Eidsavating and the Borgarting, were amalgamated and the corpus of law was set down under the command of King Magnus Lagabøte. This jurisdiction remained significant until King Frederick III proclaimed absolute monarchy in 1660. This was ratified by the passage of the King Act of 1665. And this became the constitution of the Union of Denmark and Norway and remained so until 1814 and the foundation of the Storting. The Parliament of Norway building opened in 1866. On the 27th of June 1940 the Presidium signed an appeal to King Haakon, seeking his abdication. In September 1940 the representatives were summoned to Oslo, and voted in favor of the results of the negotiations between the Presidium and the authorities of the German invaders. However, directives from Adolf Hitler resulted in the obstruction of the agreement of cooperation between Parliament and occupation force. The Storting has always been de jure unicameral, but before a constitutional amendment in 2009 it was de facto bicameral. After an election, the Storting would elect a quarter of its membership to form the Lagting, a sort of upper house or revising chamber, with the remaining 3/4 forming the Odelsting or lower house. The division was also used on very rare occasions in cases of impeachment. The original idea in 1814 was probably to have the Lagting act as an actual upper house, and the senior and more experienced members of the Storting were placed there. Later, however, the composition of the Lagting closely followed that of the Odelsting, so that there was very little that differentiated them, and the passage of a bill in the Lagting was mostly a formality. Bills were submitted by the government to the Odelsting or by a member of the Odelsting. Members of the Lagting were not permitted to propose legislation by themselves. A standing committee, with members from both the Odelsting and Lagting, would then consider the bill, and in some cases hearings were held. If passed by the Odelsting, the bill would be sent to the Lagting for review or revision. Most bills were passed unamended by the Lagting and then sent directly to the king for royal assent. If the Lagting amended the Odelsting's draft, the bill would be sent back to the Odelsting. If the Odelsting approved the Lagting's amendments, the bill would be signed into law by the king. If it did not, then the bill would return to the Lagting. If the Lagting still proposed amendments, the bill would be submitted to a plenary session of the Storting. To be passed, the bill required the approval of a 2/3 majority of the plenary session. In all other cases, a simple majority would suffice. 3 days had to pass between each time a chamber voted on a bill. In all other cases, such as taxes and appropriations, the Storting would meet in